Hey guys. Okay, so today we're talking about something that's pretty awesome. I had an event happen to me a couple of days ago, and an external event happened, and objectively, it really didn't affect me. But for some reason, when I processed the information, it triggered a heap of negative self limiting beliefs, and I felt a little bit disrupted for a good 2, 3 days. I didn't like the feeling. I was uneasy for quite a while. I was uneasy. So I said to myself, I need to figure this out. And what I've realized is that I had a lack of an emotional processing system. How do I say that easier? I didn't have an emotional processing system. What happened was something out in the environment affected my emotions, and it triggered a whole heap of different negative beliefs. And I really didn't like that. And I said to myself, I don't want this. I want to change it. So I done a little bit of thinking on the matter. I done a bit of meditation on the matter, and I wrote down my thoughts. And I came to a few conclusions. And so this is the work in progress of an emotional processing system. If you want to have a discussion around what systems are and how they're helpful, I've got a few other videos that we can talk into. Anyway, blah blah blah. We're looking at an emotional processing system. The first thing we need to cover is that in humans, identity, who you think you are, is upstream of everything. When I say upstream, I mean it comes first. So no matter what information you process, the thing that it goes first, I should say, is your identity. So, something in the world happens, the first question you ask yourself is, how does that relate to me? What does that mean to me or for me? Or what does that tell me about who I am? That's just how we work. So I'm going to look at some of the writings that I've come up with, and I'm going to read them to you. And if any thoughts, if any criticisms arise, questions, while I'm reading it to you, I want you to write it down in the comments, because the more angles we can attack this process with to reinforce or to create a better process or to improve missing links, the better. Because once we have this process in place and we can handle whatever environment is around us, we're onto something. We can end up being whoever we want to be and achieve whatever we want to be. And that's the main goal. So, here's what I've written. In humans, identity is upstream of everything. In human systems, identity-based mental maps are upstream of everything. We don't see the world as it is, we see the world as we are. All of our thoughts, feelings, beliefs, behaviors, actions, and reactions flow on from what we currently believe to be our identities. Identity-based beliefs start with I. I am cool. Here's a quote: you cannot outperform your identity. Cognitive programs. From identity, the next level down is cognition. Cognition is how we take in information. That's what cognition is. Because cognition is downstream, second, comes after our identity, it means we take information in cognitively and map it to have meaning based on who we are, right? Because identity comes first. When new information comes in, which is cognition, it gets put somewhere based on who we think we are, meaning it's downstream. Identity, cognition. So here's the event. A person that's one of my peers, just for reference, I'm in sales, got a sale. This is how the information mapped in my mind. This is how my cognitive program mapped that small event. She got a sale. It said she got a sale by herself. Phase 2. I haven't gotten a sale by myself yet. Therefore, she is better than me, and I suck. Therefore, I'm scared to do it by myself, and I'm a coward. Therefore, I don't know if I'm capable of this job because cowards don't perform. Therefore, I don't think I'm good enough. One small event caused this waterfall effect of negative beliefs within myself. Somehow, her getting a listing in my mind equated to I'm not good enough. Dude, up to. Even more to that, there was more. I'm not a solo salesperson, therefore my peers are going to make way more money than me. Therefore, I'm going to be poor and embarrassed. Therefore, I suck at this, and I'm not worthy of being rich. Therefore, I'm letting my family down. Boom, 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 boom. And it's just like, whoa, dude, chill out, bro. But that's what happened, right? It was one small event. My cognition took it and mapped it according to who I think I am. Boom. Dog, need to change that shit. So, a waterfall effect occurred of negative, disempowering beliefs. This waterfall effect, though, isn't necessarily true of me, but it clicks into place and stays because at some deeper level, it fits my understanding of who I think I am. Therefore, at some level, I think those things are true. The fact becomes, though, that if you don't have a program to disassociate those external events from your identity, then these resonances can occur without you really thinking about it. So it's important that we establish a system for dealing with these negative events and how they might ripple in towards our identities and what we think of ourselves. Because at the end of the day, we want to think highly of ourselves. We want to think highly of others. We just want to be cool people doing cool shit, having cool lives, right? What I realized, though, is upon reflection, it's really useful to go through these moments because it helps you expose these limiting beliefs. If you have a system in place to analyze, to look through it, to filter out the rubbish. But that's what we're talking about today. So we've talked about how identity is upstream of everything, downstream of identity is cognition, and how we map these things. I told you about the event and how it caused a waterfall effect of limiting beliefs and negative, disempowering beliefs. What I realized, though, and this is really cool, this is really crucial, I asked myself, if any other person were to see that event, would they draw the same conclusions about me as I did? So if any other person saw that that person got a listing, would they then think Isaac is poor and embarrassing? Isaac sucks at his job, he's a coward. No, they wouldn't. Which tells me that it's not an objective reality. It's not true of the world. And it's not really true of myself either. It tells me that I've formulated this bubble, and within this bubble is this negative belief pattern that my cognition follows. So that's great because that separates what's out there from what's in here as two distinct different realities. Another thing I thought about was what I'm feeling, is it empowering or disempowering? Do we want to carry disempowering thoughts? Do we want to carry empowering thoughts? I hope this stuff is helping anyway. It's just a conversation. So, furthermore, identity and beliefs. Identity and beliefs are not the same thing. Beliefs come from identity. They are downstream of identity and downstream of cognition. So, beliefs are thought structures. It's a thought that we believe to be truths about the world and how it relates to ourselves. See the pattern? Now, we've already proved that our beliefs are not objective realities. if they were, everyone would agree with that event meaning that about Isaac. So if our beliefs are not true of the world, what are they? They are possessions that we carry with us. They are ours. They are actually creations that we've built for ourselves. Programs we've built for ourselves at some point. Why do we carry them? When did we make them? The reason we carry them is because we think it's a truth about ourselves. When did we make them? From what I've heard, research shows that we made most, if not all, of our beliefs before the age of 8, before we had the ability to analyze information. What that means is we already have all these beliefs about ourselves before we even have the developed brain to choose what we want to believe about ourselves. Bro, that's crazy. We've got this conclusion about ourselves before we even know how to organize information. And why does that happen? Well, it becomes pretty obvious. If you have an environment that you grew up in that's conducive to poor beliefs, you would likely have adopted those poor beliefs before you've even developed the capacity to analyze and organize and choose what beliefs you carry with you. Crazy. But now we know this stuff, right? So it turns out most of our beliefs can actually be modified and remapped, as long as we learn how to uproot them, change them, and then recondition our cognition, right? So, identities and beliefs, completely different things, way separate. Identities and external environment, way separate. Next, we've got some exercises. Do you guys want some exercises? If you do, I've thought about how to restructure these. I've thought about how to do it. If you want to know more, say so below. I'll send you guys a link. I hope this was enjoyable. Please throw any questions, blah, blah, blah. If you want to hear more, we'll do a part 2. Let me know. I don't know if this stuff's helpful. Cheers.